Every winter, my friends Kyle, Ricky, and I have a tradition of walking onto a frozen lake a few towns over. There's something magical about the stillness, the moonlight reflecting off the snow, and the silence broken only by our laughter. It's a simple ritual that never fails to bring us peace. This past winter, on a snow-filled night, we parked near the lake and made our way across the ice. As usual, we tested its strength by throwing a rock. The ice held firm, so we ventured further out. We were about 100 feet from shore when we noticed movement near the edge of the lake, a dark figure emerging from the trees. At first, we thought it was a bear, but something about the way it moved seemed off, too upright, almost human. As it drew closer, we realized it was a person dressed in a bear costume, dragging a small black bag behind them. The scene was surreal, and an eerie sense of unease washed over us. The person reached the ice and unzipped the bear's suit, stepping out in plain clothes. They knelt down and began smashing the ice with a rock, clearly trying to break through. Whatever was in the bag was meant to sink. Frozen in fear, we watched until Kyle and Ricky silently motioned for us to retreat. We barely made it a few steps before the person shouted, "Hey!" We bolted, hearts pounding, running for the safety of the car. None of us looked back. Once we reached the car and sped away, we tried to make sense of what we'd seen. Ricky was convinced it was a body in the bag, but Kyle thought it might have been trash. Either way, the method and timing were too bizarre to be innocent. Months later, I saw a missing persons report on TV. A child from the area had disappeared around the same time. I can't help but wonder if it was connected to that night on the lake. We reported what we saw to the police, but the memory of that haunting figure on the ice still lingers. My family owns a small vacation home in Colorado, a place that has been in the family for over 4 decades. My parents, avid skiers, bought it before I was born. Though the house shows its age, it holds a lot of memories. This particular incident happened 15 years ago during a heavy blizzard. I was 8, and my brother, Josh, was 11. The snow piled high, and we couldn't resist going outside to play. Our property was perfect for games, surrounded by woods with open space and a dead-end road. Josh and I played our favorite snowball fight game, each building forts to protect a jewel, a giant snowball. Josh chose a neighboring property for his base, as the owners were rarely there. Once he was set up, he'd blow a whistle to start the game. But as I waited, no whistle came. After 10 minutes, I decided to search for him, choosing the road over the eerie woods. Arriving at the neighboring property, I saw his fort but no sign of Josh. As I approached, an older woman appeared at the house's front door, asking if I was looking for my brother. When I said we were playing a game, she replied, "He isn't here." Her creepy smile and the sight of another figure peering from an upstairs window sent chills down my spine. I screamed for Josh, and the woman's demeanor changed instantly. I noticed footprints leading to the house and then back to the woods. The sound of footsteps inside added to my panic. I ran. Back home, I found Josh with my dad, who had come looking for me. Josh said people in the house had tried to lure him inside too. My dad grabbed a weapon and investigated. The house was locked, and the owners, contacted later, confirmed they hadn't been there. Police found nothing, but the memory of that day left a permanent mark. A few winters ago, when I was 21, my friends and I planned a skiing trip to Vermont. It was one of those epic, carefree weekends filled with adrenaline and laughter. On the second day, after a full day of skiing, we debated how to make our final run memorable. As we stood at the top of the lift, 2 stunning women approached us. They introduced themselves as Taylor and Devin, claiming they were bored because the mountain was mostly filled with older skiers. They chatted with us, shared a bottle of mysterious liquor, and suggested we ski down a secluded trail called Devil's Forest. Though skeptical, the promise of adventure tempted us. The trail wasn't on any map, but we followed them anyway, walking uphill through fresh, untouched snow. It was unsettlingly quiet, and the deeper we ventured, the more my friend Jaden and I questioned their intentions. The trail led to a steep slope through dense trees. As we skied down, something fell off. At the bottom, the women insisted we'd find a lift nearby. That's when my friends Ryland and Amir, who had drunk heavily, suddenly collapsed. The women claimed ignorance, but their behavior turned sinister. As panic set in, I noticed they hadn't drunk from their own bottle. They whispered to each other before trying to leave, taking my friend's skis. My body felt numb, and I struggled to stay awake. Through sheer willpower, I pretended to pass out, overhearing them complain that I hadn't drunk enough of their concoction. They trudged off into the woods, meeting a van where several large men waited. One of them spotted me watching and pointed, but I managed to stumble back to my friends. Jaden was the first to wake, and together, we waited for Ryland and Amir to recover. The ordeal left us shaken. Who were those women? And what did they want? Reporting it to the authorities led nowhere, and we never learned the truth. To this day, I wonder how much worse things could have been if I hadn't been cautious with that drink.